Hey, Cal here. Apparently I've been misinformed. I did not know that YouTube increased the video length for video uploads to 15 minutes. So this is my first video that's going to be over 15 minutes long. And I gotta say, I'm kind of too used to making videos under 10 minutes. I tend to compact everything. And it's normally right at 10 minutes. So really what I'm going to explain is the future of my Chaos Space Marine army. All I really have now for my army is a Tzeentch Chaos Space Marine squad with melt gun, heavy bolter, or autocannon. Depends on what I'm running. I have a converted Chaos Lord on Disc of Tzeentch with Power Fist and Combi Melton, which he is very deadly. I go into close combat with a troop, with basic run-of-the-mill troops. It's utter slaughter. Because it's just 4 to hit, but if I hit and I wound, they die. Which is awesome. And he's pretty good against vehicles. He's pretty good against tanks. He's pretty good against dreadnoughts. He has a notch for a dreadnought that he killed when I was playing against Jeremy, which was very interesting. And I still got sleepies in my eyes. So yeah, I have a Chaos Sorcerer and Terminator armor with, well, twin-linked bolt gun, Mark of Tzeentch, which he has 3 Psyker powers along with his familiar. The Psyker powers I normally run, without the familiar, I normally run the Bolt of Change and Doom Bolt, but sometimes I take Winds of Chaos, which I have to do more research on that because I've always run him with 2 Psyker powers, but I do give him 3 Psyker powers just for larger battles and longer games. So yeah, I do have an alternative Chaos Lord which I have yet to use. It is a Nurgle Lord in Terminator armor and dual wielding lightning claws, which he's like the Chaos Space, not the Chaos Space Marine, but the generic Space Marine Terminator body that I got for free that came with 2 left arms. I completely converted it, cut up all the chest piece and lowered it so I can put this sort of like leather robe over him. Rod on the shoulder pads. The shoulder pads are actually from the Chaos Squad kit. I just had to cut the arms down and fit them to it. I don't know why I'm so drowsy today. That's pretty much my alternative. I have done a few Chaos conversions. I'm currently working on the Juggernaut for Joe, which is the second commission. That's kind of taking longer because it's a pain in the ass to strip because he used cheap Walmart spray paint as a primer, which doesn't work very well, especially when you're trying to strip it, and it kinda doesn't go on it right because it clumps up and everything. But anyways, and my last choice of a unit is my possessed Chaos Space Marine squad. Yes, they are quite versatile because of their special rule, Demonkin, which you roll 1d6 after you deploy them, and they have a certain special rule depending on what you roll. If you roll a 4, you get rending. If you roll 6, you get power weapon, which all of them have power weapons, which makes them, if they roll one of those 2, they're pretty much gods on the field. If you roll anything else like Furious Charge, they're still pretty good for close combat. Anything else? That's pretty much my army so far. It's not compulsory. You know, I can't field them at like GW or anything, because I only have 1 troop choice. I could do a proxy and just 5-man attack squad, or 5-man combat squad like with my Swamp Breakers and say they're Nurgle detachment, but I won't do that. I plan on getting a 1,000 Suns squad. Either 1,000 Suns or a Nurgle cult squad. Sort of like the unit I have now, just Nurgled, and has different weaponry. So yeah, that kind of thing. Which, if I do a Nurgle detachment, they're going to be Traitor Swamp Breakers. Just fits into their fluff. I'm already at 5 minutes, and I've got 10 minutes to go on this. This is awesome. So what I plan on doing is I'm planning on either getting 1,000 Suns as my second troop choice, or getting another squad box and making a Nurgle squad with the heavy bolter and maybe flamer or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And if I do make any Nurgle in my army, in my Chaos army, they're going to be Nurgle Swamp Breakers, because when the Silent Knights, my Chaos Space Marines who worship Tzeentch, they were actually the Silent Knights chapter that their homeworld, the homeworld of the Silent Knights and the homeworld of the Swamp Breakers were circling the same star. They were in the same system. So when Tzeentch sort of started to manipulate the Silent Knights, and Nurgle was basically interacting with the former chapter master of the Swamp Breakers, which is the Nurgle Terminator. I still have to come up with a name for him. And basically how it ran down was the Silent Knights thought that the Swamp Breakers were going to attack, the Swamp Breakers were going to attack them, so they decided to attack first. Because basically Tzeentch fabricated a false signal of a declaration of war. And there was like the Silent Knights decided to attack the Swamp Breakers. The Swamp Breakers were completely they're like, what the fuck is going on? And Chapter Master Kyle, who was a captain at the time, well, he was a captain at the time, basically sort of saw through all this and said, what the hell is going on? This isn't right. And he basically went behind the chapter master's back, because he sort of could tell something was up, and he could sense the chaos corruption within him. So he sort of goes behind his back and warns the other captains of the other companies. And basically the rundown is the Swamp Breakers. That's actually the chapter. The size of the chapter is the size of my army, because they've only got like 3 chapters left. They're on the verge of being killed off. But the thing is, they used to be at least 10 chapters strong, but most of them got killed during this little heresy. Same with the Silent Knights. The Silent Knights are a small warband, because almost all of them got killed off in the wars, in the big war that happened in that system. And the Swamp Breakers, when the former chapter master went with the Silent Knights, when they went into the Eye of Terror, the former chapter master of the Swamp Breakers took a whole bunch of a few of the companies that went traitor as well, but a very few number of them survived going into the Eye of Terror. So their numbers are very small, and normally what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few units, maybe, depending on what they are, make them of different warbands. It's going to be a warband. Not all of them are going to be the same color, but they're going to be a warband, basically made up of several different traitor legions, traitor chapters. I'm still working on all this. I'll probably have this all written up on my blog, of the backstory about the Swamp Breakers and the Silent Knights, as well as when most of the Swamp Breakers went traitor, the Grey Knights actually had to come in and stop everything and push the Silent Knights and the traitor Swamp Breakers away. And then the surviving Swamp Breakers had to go through rigorous purity tests. And Captain Kyle at the time was promoted to Chapter Master by the Inquisition due to him seeing through all of this and taking action against it. And therefore, it's basically the model he is now, which is basically me as a Space Marine. I've only got 5 minutes left. Yes! 4.5 minutes. And apparently the Silent Knight homeworld had no signs of corruption by Chaos. So, and Chapter Master Kyle requested that the planet be untouched from now on. No Imperium is allowed to land on that planet except for the Swamp Breakers for research reasons, just to make sure that there's no corruption that it will arise or it will be basically blown up. So yeah, that's pretty much some of the backstory on between Swamp Breakers and the Silent Knights. It's kind of rough, but I'll probably write up some fluff on my blog. I got to figure out how to put articles in groups so they're easier to get to. Anyways, excuse me. It's kind of nice that it's now 15 minutes. I think it's been 15 minutes for quite a while. Anyways, basically where I'm going with my Chaos Space Marines, I kind of went a little overboard with this. So I'm going to get the next troop I'm going to get, I'm probably going to have 3 troops. The next one I'm either going to get is 1,000 Suns, or a Nurgle Cult Squad. And then I'm going to get Rhinos, pretty much Rhinos for every single troop. I'm not going to have any heavy tanks. I'm basically going to have a squad of Obliterators with maybe 2 Havoc squads. As of elites, I'm probably going to have a small 5-man squad of Terminators, as well as maybe a 5-man squad of Raptors. And I might expand. I'm going to expand basically those units larger. Basically what I'm going to do is I might get 1 Obliterator, and basically 1 squad of Raptors, 1 squad of Terminators. You know, I already have 1 squad of Possessed, and eventually I'll expand them. Basically have them in placeholders, so I'll get like a Havoc squad, and basically 2 Havoc squads. They might end up being built from scratch at some point with blisters and whatnot, and extra weapons. And then eventually, when I start recycling my aspiring champions, or make some, I'll make a small 5-man chosen squad with a few heavy weapons, assault weapons, and whatnot. So basically, it's going to be a themed army, but it's going to be a good army. So that's pretty much what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to have a Rhino basically for each eligible unit. Possessed, you know, my Possessed, 1,000 Suns, my Cult Squad, everything's going to have a Rhino. That can have anything that can be in a Rhino will have a Rhino, which is probably what's going to happen with my Space Marines, my Swamp Breakers. So yeah. Okay. Alright, I've only got like just about a minute. Well, just over a minute. So this is basically my first video over 15 minutes long, or over 10 minutes long. So anyways, I hope that, tell me what you think about my army setup, of what I'm going to do with my Chaos. Put down your comments below. I will always try to respond to every single comment that I am given, but if it's too much, it's going to have to wait. So anyways, tell me what you think of some of the fluff. Does it paint a picture in your head or anything? I don't know. Anyways, this is Kyle X Pie 665 signing out. Bye bye.